Hey, what it do, baby? Welcome to Vegeta Saiyan Army. Thank you guys for liking, watching, and subscribing. Super Saiyan 4, Gogeta. 15th place. Nicholas Canner, I got your list right now. Congratulations. You did 15th place at the Core TCG online tournament. First of all, how congratulations, bro. How'd you I know you've been playing this deck for a little bit. I'd ask why you picked this deck, but this deck is nasty. Any thoughts on that?
Again, thank you very much. I got my invite, so I'm chilling the rest of the season till Nats. I have been, as you said, I've been playing this deck for about 5+ months, ever since the deck was conceived. So whatever set Zenkai was introduced, I started playing the deck since then. So I've had a lot of time with the deck. But I feel very comfortable with the deck was like the biggest thing, so that's why I chose to take it into the regional. That was my main concern, was being comfortable with the deck. If I had enough time, I maybe would have played like decks like Broly Swap or something else that's aggro in red, but
yeah,
I did on this.
Yeah, that's fair. And so I think most of us know what the deck does. It can rest red cards and I can combo cards in rest mode as long as they're mono red. When you use a card in a combo, you can look at the top 3 cards to your deck and up to 1 red Saiyan or a red Unison cost 2. You awaken, and on this side he plays a 1-drop on swing, draws a card. Gogeta GT cards can attack opponent in active mode. I'll leave it here if you guys want to pause it, but the deck's been out for so long. I'm just going to blow up the list real quick. We are pretty familiar with the deck, how to play against it, how to play with it. Do you have anything to say to anyone that wants to just pick this deck up, right? I think that if you're a new player coming in now, this might be a deck that they might want to pick up. Or if you're already playing it, what are some of the matchups? What are some of the plays that you do? Because one thing about this deck is that like everyone feels like, oh, I know how to play against it. Or there's been so much practice against it, so much, I guess, tactics that people are developing against this deck because it's so powerful that you have to have a plan, right? So what are some of the plays or interactions that you dealt with either today or in testing recently?
So for people wanting to get into the deck, the biggest thing is be aware of the Son Goku Adventure Advent 1-drop. It just makes this deck extremely consistent. It wasn't made for the deck, it's not part of the engine, but it happens to work well, but people have known that for a while. I would say get your head in the mindset that all your cards are comboable in rest mode. Always be aware of that. It's just an extra buff that other decks are normally not going to have, so take advantage of it. When it comes to your super combo choice, a lot of people opt out for Beerus or Raditz. Although I keep finding myself on Raditz because I play that 1-drop Advent Goku, and I feel that for the ag consistency.
Yeah.
And later game, that I feel that super combo is the choice in this deck. But that's what I feel people need to know going into it, and also be aware that the Defeating the Demon promo exists now, so the deck has had to make room for it because it has too much synergy to ignore.
Yeah, and forget the fact that the 1-drop can search it, the leader can search it, the Unison can search it. When you combo, you can search it. Like, everything searches. I understand that Beerus you can use that as like a lot sooner than Raditz, but I'd rather have 3 to 4 super combos every game than have some that are just usable early every game, if that makes sense, you know? Did you feel that? Did you miss the sometimes the Beerus early on, like maybe if they're swinging at your rush attack on turn 3 to 2, maybe they're swinging at maybe a 4-drop stayed on board or something?
No, I never once through this tournament felt bad about this super combo. Every single time it felt good.
Yeah, right. It's like in King Vegeta, it's like everything searched this same super combo. So it's like, okay, I feel like I'm good. You know what? You could use the Frank Castle Special super combo though. The one that like if you combo another card, it goes up to like 31k or something.
Yeah,
But
there's a lot of choices you can make. I mean, you can even offer the map a super combo that plays a token, so or plays itself. So there's a lot out there to do with this deck.
yeah. But
Although
that's
I
fair.
like for consistency, which I am a big fan of, as you can see, this is also a 50 card list. So consistency is my number one thing with decks. So another reason I'm playing this super combo gets me to what I need quicker than other super combos.
Yeah, fair. Also, I mean, everything in this deck you can search for. The 2 Wolfang Fists is pretty big. I wanted to talk about something else. You were talking about consistency, but oh yeah, when you're playing 1-drops, right? Don't forget, you can always play Son Gohan defeating the demon. Did that ever come up at all? Did you ever do that?
It came up a lot with the Unison and Leader Swing. It came up a lot. There's a lot of positions where people are in off Leader Swing that they're not going to negate because they have a blocker token up, and your auto will resolve first. So you'll play this card, the auto goes in the pending. The auto is going to go off before a blocker window opens, so you can hit the token, and now your Leader Swing is going wherever they thought they were not going to be blocked on.
Oh, that's great. That's awesome. I like that.
So it helps a lot. But also, we can talk more about Defeating Demon as we get to it in this profile, because there's so much to unpack with that card in terms of interactions that I learned over the regional.
Yeah, I mean everything else. I mean everything looks pretty standard. 3 of the 8 drops. 4 obviously of the Adventures Advent. One thing that 3 of the searching for rivals Vegeta. Do you think would you like to go up to 4, or is that just like you want to keep it at 50?
I was playing 4 copies of that card for more than half the deck's life cycle. However, upcoming to this weekend, I got a taste of what it's like to play against some meta blue decks for a bit, and I opted out of a card that's limit 1 for a card that I made that room by taking 1 out to stay at 50 just to put the Indomitable Might SS4 Gogeta in, because that card was having more results, specifically against Android 21, which is becoming insanely popular right now.
Yeah, talk about that. So for those that don't know, 8-drop Gogeta Indomitable Might, it's 3 energy. You're gonna play it. There's like if you have enough Saiyans, you can play it for 3. But your opponent's gonna warp a card. Your leader's gonna get a 5k pump for the next turn and a half. They're gonna warp a card from hand, and 2 of your opponent's battle cards get minus 30,000 for the turn, and it swings for double strike with deflect. So yeah, what was the interaction? What'd you do?
So out of the 181 entrants, at least 2 of them that I got to play against were Android 21 players. So the exact situation that came up in both games, which was just making it a one-sided match at that point, was on my turn 4, instead of dropping 8, like normal Gogeta 8, they would have their SCR established because they would win die roll and they would be at 4+ energy, plus whatever energy I have, so they would drop Secret Rare.
Of course.
Get a life or 2.
Of course.
And the following turn, after they've swung with it once, and untapped it, I would just go play 8-drop Gogeta, they go D-Burst. I say, okay, that is fine with me. Neg 32 targets, cool. Your SCR and 1 other card are down by 30. I actually will probably take out another card with the 30k. Then I play Defeating the Demon. Minus 20 to your SCR. Your SCR is gone.
Yeah.
And then swinging with Defeating the Demon. That interaction, playing the Defeating the Demon, I don't even have to pay an energy for the Defeating the Demon. I can
that's nuts.
With Leader. So it kills so many. This interaction kills so many SCRs. It even killed a Gohan Piccolo SCR. So it just kills so many Secret Rares that don't have barrier. And regardless of Secret Rares, any battle card without barrier.
So to my understanding, because the Android 21 SCR, if he's removed, he can give you back the battle cards he absorbed and not be removed, right?
The Android 21 SCR wouldn't be able to save itself because by game mechanic it's at 0k.
Exactly, yeah, it's a game mechanic, right? So why'd you need to even play the Defeating the Demon? You're saying that's another option, or?
Because the thing is 40k base, so I need 30 plus another 10.
Oh, right, yeah, okay, fair. Oh, okay, yeah, that's pretty good. I mean, also, and you're playing 2 battle cards that they are staying on, and it does. I just like that it warps a card from hand and it beans you leader.
Correct. And even as we're talking about it, I'm realizing the other interaction of you can minus 30 with Indomitable Might, and then pay 1 for Surging Attack Broly, the new promo, and get rid of it because it's at 15k.
Oh wow,
If it doesn't
yeah.
have anything under it.
Mhm.
But to be fair, you're gonna neg it for the safest play.
Yeah, right. I mean, you could also. What's the Vegeta? There's a Vegeta here that negs 15k, right?
And that is the Rivalry United on the top, fourth
Yeah.
card over.
So out of the two, I like the Goku. This is shocking, but I like the Goku more just because he draws. But I feel like the Vegeta is even sometimes better because he's critical and minus 15k when he plays it when you play it. So it's weird. It's always weird. Like, you know, they're each great at their own thing. But
the Rivalry United comes up a lot against yellow, just because I don't like yellow players' cards in hand from life, and
Of
also
course.
against Sin, because they swing with 15ks that, if negged by my skills, are not coming back to be dual attackers.
Right. Okay.
So, which helps a lot. But in terms of the engine, you know, I'm playing 2, 4, 8, 12 Goku GTs and
Okay.
11 Vegeta GTs. I felt like this is sufficient for people wanting to get into this deck, just because if you play 11 to 12 of each card, your awakening condition is also easier to get to on your curve with your Unison, which, Bondi, if you're listening, please leave my Unison alone. I think this Unison is good, but not as broken as the Piccolo red Unison that was being abused by every red deck at one point.
Everyone's like booing right now at home, just listening to that.
Play a sound effect of boos here. I think with the Piccolo Unison, if we look at that if you look at it from the lens of what is too strong for a Unison, I feel like this is not. It's really strong, but I don't think it's the biggest problem.
How often did it get Shadow Dragon, honestly?
0 times.
Really? So
No
guys,
one's
come on, just play the card. Like, would you, like, if you're playing against this deck, would you side that card in? Like, why do you think people aren't doing that?
I think what people aren't doing is, one, if you're a yellow player, you play the Slug engine. The anti-draw Slug Super Namekian engine. You just play that card against me, because if you look at my deck, I counted 30 cards that effects are tied to drawing or searching cards. So it shuts off 30 cards in my deck. There is nothing I can do unless we go to my sideboard, which I do have answers for that type of thing.
Great, and we'll go into that in a second,
Correct. But let's see, in terms of, like, my choices through testing, you know, like, since we're passing Unison, I think that bottom line, that just end the Unison note, this Unison is good. Do I think it's ban-worthy? No. But if Piccolo was still around, perhaps we'd be playing Piccolo because there's so much yellow and blue running around. So it's really hard to say. But yeah, in terms of that, we spoke of the engines, and also our 1-ofs let's pay attention to, because we have the Surging Attack Broly, which moving forward I would play 2 of. I would take out one of my other 1-ofs, the One Hit Wonder. I felt like One Hit Wonder was good. It did things in the tournament. I resolved it quite a few times. However, in half of my games, I did end up siding it out for other cards, because I felt like the effect was okay to get rid of it. It was kind of like a luxury for the deck.
Yeah.
Because there are quite a lot of cards in this deck that are going to trigger the minus effect. So it was just a luxury. I like it, but I would definitely take it out for a second Broly. And let's see.
I'm surprised you run the Overrealm over the SCR as well. Is that normal?
Yeah. Nah. Just like Heated Fighting Spirit. I feel like in most of my games I Overrealm twice. So like, I really like to have it, because sometimes you live past the your big turn 4 play, and you might have been forced to Zenkai Awaken or Z Awaken, so you know you want that extra swing. So having a second Overrealm in this deck, I feel like, is necessary. And if anyone's deciding whether to pick this card up or play a different Overrealm, I would say this is the Overrealm of choice moving forward. A few points. One, this Heated Fighting Spirit Overrealm Vegeta, just it pings Secret Rare, so it gets rid of most Secret Rares in the game. 2, it can hit generally any target, which is always great. And 3, it gets rid of token negates. That's so important in this format where every deck plays token negates. So it helps a lot, and it came up almost every game because the targets that I was hitting with this card, 9 times out of 10 were a secret rare or a token negate, and that's just what it was. The card is very strong. It's a better version of the Dark Broly that came out a few sets ago. That's, at the end of the day, it's the same card, just better.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see people bringing up Secret ID against the token negates, but you can't go as tall as this card does, getting rid of a secret rare.
Correct.
With this card, yeah.
Yeah, and Secret ID is by no means bad. I just think I enjoy what this card does, and I find that I will benefit more with this card than Secret ID, but that's just me.
I do want to give flowers to, because we haven't talked in this channel enough about these cards, and we've been testing them, and they're insane. You did touch a little bit about defeating the demon, and I think most people are like gathering how good it is. But I said in one of my earlier videos that Super Saiyan Broly Surging Attack is the second, maybe one of the top 3 best red cards in the game right now, because not in Secret Rare, obviously. But it's like, imagine if you put the Bardock's crew Bardock, and you also added Borgos' effect to it. And it's like, so it's critical. It draws, like, I mean, the amount of utility this card has for 1 energy. And it's also, it's not only that it's a 25k critical, is that you can do it like turn 2.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it depends if you're in the play or in the draw, but it's like, it's still just really early for this card to come out. And any thoughts? Did it overperform? Did it underperform? Talk about the Broly first.
Oh, this Broly overperformed. So, first off, it hits 15Ks or less, so token negates. Every color has one. They're all going to die to it. It can hit other cards that are 15k or less, which when you play against, decks like Majin Vegeta, BT1 Frieza, let's see, Gamma, you'll see some cards in Sin. A lot of decks that are in the format right now, it is going to ping most of those cards plus their token negates. Mm-hmm. And also giving your leader Overlord is big, because not only is this card 25k critical, so if you swing with it, your opponent is going to most likely either 1 negate, they've already lost a card in hand, which is fine by me, or 2, they've gone through 15k combo power on top of their leader to get out of this swing. So when you look at it like that, it's either that you're getting crit by this card, or you're discarding 2 to 3 cards to out this card's swing. So I found this card was so unnecessarily strong in terms of pressure. I think for 25k, like 20k is reasonable for 1 in this time of Dragon Ball, but 25k is just where you have to ask yourself, where do we really go from here?
I think what's Fast's fucking name again? Fighting Against Fate. That card showed us how incredibly powerful 25 is. Wait, was he 25 or 30? No, he's 25.
He was 25.
Yeah, that card showed us the difference between 20 and 25. No card ever taught us that lesson harder than him. Because there are other dual attackers, but like that 25 is that sweet number. But when it's critical and it comes out turn 2, it just feels so much better.
Yeah, and the big thing with this deck was it was perfectly fine playing it as a 1-of, because in this deck, 1-ofs that are red sands are as good as a 2-of. Because this deck is just top 3 for red sands so often. So there's that. And 1, and 2, once you bottom deck with Overlord and you play an Adventures Advent Goku, you shuffled it back into the deck. You're gonna see it again, most likely. Because in at least 4 of my games I can recall, I resolved it twice, and I only play 1 copy.
You know what? I wanted to say, that's one thing I like about the Vegeta that resets the deck, searching for rivals, because sometimes the searching, you search 1 card at a time, but you still want to sometimes reset your deck just to make sure that you can see cards like this again.
Yeah, and that's the same point. Yeah, exactly. That card in Adventurer's Advent, searching for rivals in Advent, reset the deck, and this card is going to fly around once you bomb deck it. So I found that a 1 was fine, you can get away with it. But if you have 2, I recommend taking up my one-hit wonder because, again, like I said, it's a luxury, but I feel like Broly, the surging attack Broly moving forward will kind of be a necessary 2 of in this deck. And if you're playing other red decks, you'll probably want to play 2 to 4, depending on how you feel about the card and how much space you have in your deck. But yeah, that's really it for the deck. And also Yamcha, obviously, Merciless Barrage.
Yeah, you had me at 1 of. Yeah.
Yeah, why do you not play it? It's too good. Had to go to 1. Let's play
exactly. And it didn't need to. But anything before we go into the sideboard and the Z deck?
Nothing else. I really hit the point. If you were looking to be one of those people who play a 50 card list, this is a good template for you. This is, I think, the most consistent way you can play this deck. And that's just how I see the deck. A lot of people will tell you it's okay to go to 50 plus, like 51 or more to 60. And to those people, I just say, you know, I came from Yu-Gi-Oh! Where 50 cards was law. And if you weren't playing, you're probably shunned. So I feel like playing 50 is just the way with it, especially if you need to have the pieces for your triumphant together Gogeta. You're going to most likely have it no matter the circumstances if you're playing 50 cards. It's just more consistent.
Alright, so let's move into the Z deck here that you have. So I feel like surmounting makes sense. Rush attack at 4. I think this is my Z deck as well for this deck. I mean, you want to have the 4 rush attack, right? Because you'd be shocked how often you just replay them. And when do you think people want to use the defending for life or the defender of life Goku?
Defender of Life came up a lot against blue and yellow because they have very tempo/stall methods of playing the game. So Defender of Life kind of helps you ping a damage, and if you're closer to time in the round, that 1 damage can make or break your match. That's all I'm saying.
Dude, that's funny because I was gonna say, what about green? Because I mean, green sucks, but like what like charismatic, like dormant, just can't touch this card.
Yeah, it has barrier once it comes out, so charismatic can't hit it, and what's it called? Their best green card, it's escaping me. The 1 cost extra says they can only swing 1 more time for the turn.
Oh, I thought you were talking about deflecting Kamehameha, the negate, that 1-drop negate, KO, 4-drop or less. There's dormant potential.
This card is deflect.
Shocking death ball. I don't know.
This card having deflect is a big thing.
Yeah,
but yeah,
right.
Taking a damage from 3 or higher or 4 or higher is it comes up way more than you think. I've resolved this card at least in half my matches, I would say. And let's see, 4 rush attack, like you said, you go through them more often than you think, especially against decks like blue, where your games, which in my experience yesterday, my Gamma matchup that I ended up losing, we went to turn 7. So, and I went through all of them. So, and I wouldn't have been as close to a possible victory as I would have if I didn't run 4 of this card.
It's such a stupid card. Like, sometimes I just read it and I'm like, whoa, that's so nuts. And then it does all that.
It does a lot, and I don't think...
I love it.
It's really hard to say when they will top a red Z-deck card like this. It will be hard to say when they come out with the next red stable, because they set the bar pretty high to start with.
I dare them to do this with green. They just can't.
And they may, but who knows if they will. It's only time will tell. We'll see this.
They can't. It's like, come on.
We'll see. You never say never. You never know.
Alright, let's see. Alright, so side deck, the 15 cards. I see Koitz and Shin. Any thoughts on these? Going from left to right, I guess. So you can talk about Shin first.
Okay, so first I'll say, in terms of black cards, you might notice Black Smoke is missing. I felt that in my deck, Black Smoke was a trap. I ended up just not enjoying the card. I never felt...
Oh, I see your side deck now. I love that you're using this card.
Yeah, the only time where I say Smoke will really come up may actually be against Gamma, and I'm actually considering putting it back in just for that, because I haven't played against it as much as I should have leading up to this event, but after this event, it's the only time I can see this deck being done. So you know what? For those looking at this, take out the Secret Medicine and put that in, because that's what I'm going to do moving forward. In terms of the Shin, I was playing it mostly because I just have an irrational fear of the Gogeta BROTK deck. If I run into it, I need to be prepared. It's just what it is. That deck is very degenerate. If I see it, it would just be really foolish to lose just because I'm not playing Shin in the side.
Yeah.
And it also helps against Red Android 13, which our buddy Alex, shout out to our homie in the VSA. He, taught me that Red 13 is a threat. So if I run into it, Shin helps. It helps me get to my 4, which matters a lot in that matchup. But really the main reasons I played it was just those 2 decks, and it also would prove well against Red Vegito Reboot with the Z Leader from the Anniversary box. It would do well against that, because their bodies are huge, and they pull them off early, so they can't swing with them. And if Red Sin was playing more of how it used to play, then I would say it'd be useful there, but it's not. It doesn't do as much as you want. Koitsukai, other good black sideboard card. It just overperforms against blue and yellow. Green, if you see it, it will probably help you in all of those matchups. Every counterplay floodgate they're all playing is 20k or less, unless you play against Gamma, where their floodgates are 25k now.
Yeah, so, that's awesome.
Yeah, but that card really helped a lot. It helps a lot. It's a good card. I don't think it's going anywhere. And now we can move on to red cards on the side. So I'll start with Broly Crown. Broly Crown, I'm contemplating finding a room for a 4th, but at the same time, 3 was fine. It's like playing a 4 in this deck. It really helped in the Gamma and 21 matchups a lot. I wish I sided the 3rd one in against Gamma, because I think in my last round I was having so much fatigue that I just kind of rushed it, and especially after getting the random deck check, I was just kind of frazzled, and I was like, okay, I just need to play fast.
Yeah.
But yeah, Broly Crown, even though you can't play it off the Unison anymore, it's really strong. I haven't played it in a long time, and I thought I wouldn't play it as much until I played against 21 and Gamma. It came up too much.
Okay. Talk about Gala Cannon, because we've been.
So
I'm glad you're playing this, because I bought these before they were expensive, and Alex and I were talking about it. So tell everybody what the deal is with this card and what you played against.
And I've had my copy since the card was almost printed, probably within a month. Yeah. So I've had 3 of them sitting around, so it was finally time to bust them out. But Gala Cannon really, really, really overperformed against the Android 21 matchup.
Yeah.
It's someone made it really popular on Facebook. Forgive me, I really don't recall who said it, because I barely pay attention to names in this community unless they're in VSA. Shout out. But Gala Cannon stops their Z battle card play. They have the option to Z stack once they play it, which it's on them if they decide to do it, but it's on, they don't have to. But it really puts them a turn behind once they tap their 2 for their Z battle card, because for 1 energy, if you have it and you've gone 1st or 2nd, you can still leave 1 up regardless, no matter where you are in the game. This card shuts off their turn 2. If they commit to it and they don't play around it, that's on them.
Yeah.
This card shuts their turn off, and they swing once and pass. It's a sad day for them. And it can probably find other uses, even against token negates or other cards that are probably relevant right now. Even against yellow. I could see this being good against the yellow Trunks and Vegetas that have barrier, because they have barrier but no deflect. So it can work on those too. Let's see. So the Gala Cannon, pick that card up if you're going to play against Android 21. The card's really good. And it will probably see more play going forward. Let's see. Secret Medicine. I don't like this card anymore. Is the card good? Yes. But is it relevant this format? Probably not as much as I thought it would be. It just someone in the comment section, feel free to prove me wrong. I just didn't find any time to side the other day. Not once.
Yeah, well, you played AOD a lot, and you're a good player, so you probably just scared for Bizarro Canner to show up with with AOD.
Yeah. And the thing also is, as an AOD pilot who's done well with AOD, I also realize that if I run into the deck, I would like to see this card.
Yeah.
But it shuts off the deck. Other than the Sin promo, but that's a whole different deck.
Yeah, fair.
Beerus Ball, I sided this card in probably 6 out of 8 of my games. Beerus Ball overperforms against yellow and blue. It is extremely strong. It stops almost all their floodgates. And in my interactions with this deck, moving forward is on my turn. I'm usually not committing the 8-drop Gogeta until turn 5 onward against yellow decks, because this Vegito counterplay floodgate exists right now. So I can't just blindly pay 4, play this card, and expect to swing a bunch of times. No, this Vegito exists now.
Yeah.
So I have to wait till turn 5, drop it, they respond with Vegito, and then I proceed to Beerus Ball, and then I can actually play that card. So Beerus Ball, well, put this card on your side, you will not regret it. I almost want to main deck it. I'd probably take out the one-hit wonder for it, to be honest, to at least main one.
Awesome.
If it was a BO1 no side. But that card is so strong, and it is okay that it is not gaining the permanent to use it for free. It is fine. It works out in this deck, because you are going to be at 4 life at some point in the game regardless when you're going for the game. So it is generally live.
Yeah, if you like black red Gogeta on turn 4 into Gohan or something, and then next turn you have Beerus Ball behind your Gogeta 8, the regular Gogeta 8, because like yellow players are starting to like I said, like we're starting to like adapt to this deck. So motherfuckers will like window 1 Vegito and window 2 Vegito and get real cute with that shit. So Beerus Ball really helps against those plays.
Oh, just getting word that Gala Cannon chooses the card, so it does not hit barrier cards. But I don't know. It is a counterplay skill, so
right.
But we'll see. But yeah, Beerus Ball, order for forms. Everyone putting your sideboard card. Everyone have it on your sideboard. It's just good.
And now for the real heater, Son Goku Nimbus Voyager. I'm so happy, dude, because I remember buying these thinking like I was the only one. But go ahead and tell everybody why you're playing this card.
So, I can't take credit for this. A lot of people gave me the idea.
Yeah.
So shout out to a lot of our VSA boys in our Worth locals. People told me to play this card just because if I run into the slug package, which I had mentioned, shuts off 30 cards in my deck, I need to see this card. So it says if your leader is red and you place this card in the other's drop area, when this card attacks a battle card, if that card has 25 power or less, KO it. It does not say choose the card. So it gets around barrier. That's the big thing here. Gets around barrier, swing at the rested slug when you're in that position, and it is gone. There's no interaction unless they have Soul Punisher or a hard negate for this. And that feels really silly for them to have to waste a hard negate on this card out of all my cards in my deck.
Well, it's still... But even if you negate, it still goes through. Because it's an auto, right?
When this card attacks a battle card... Oh, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, it still goes off. So, like, they're going to have to, like... They'll literally have to, like, Crusher Ball effect this shit. Like, they're going to have to, like... The problem with this card is, like, things that rest it. But still, I mean, they're going to have to use it on that, or...
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I didn't even realize it. Learn good things about this deck every dang day. But yeah, this song... Yeah, you can hard negate
actually
this.
sick, better than you thought.
It's
It's actually nuts. Yeah, it's like taking a life even after they negate your Saiyan Kaba, basically.
Yeah, this card is strong. If you don't have this card, pick it up. It will come in handy a lot. I sided in against every yellow matchup, and it did help. Even against yellow Kid Ku, and yellow BT1 Frieza, it did things. It was good. I like it.
And look, and now it's going to be even better. Well, obviously, the reason it's obviously great. I mean, I know that you have to attack with it, which is something that like Dragon doesn't have to do, but it is 1 less energy. It is a red card, the 0.5k, so like it's searchable. It's 0.5k, so it's easier to find this card.
And it's a searchable card.
Yeah, exactly. It's a searchable card. Now again, you have to attack with it, but it's like it does give you that advantage of being so much cheaper than on the Dragon. But it's not like you said that it doesn't have to be slug. Sin Shenron, did anybody play Sin Shenron TP this week?
Oh yes, the BT1 Frieza player. He was the gentleman who got I believe 16th at Nats last year with Green Gotenks reboot. I forget his name. It's Andrew something. I apologize. He's a cool guy, a good player to play against. He was actually really kind. I feel bad for forgetting his name, but yeah, he resolved that card on me, I think, twice in their match, and this would have also been beneficial there, you know?
Yeah, that card is disgusting. But yeah, this helps against anything with barrier as long as it's 25 or less. That card is 24. So long as they used their effect already. Luckily, this deck can play things for very cheap, so you can bait that.
But yeah, and to close it off, hey, this event was ran pretty solid by core TCG. It was 181 entrants, and I ended with 6-2 at the end of the day, playing against Majin Vegeta with the W, Yellow BT1 Frieza with the loss, Trunks Vegeta with the W, Sin Shenron with the W, 2 Android 21s with the W, Yellow Kid Ku reboot with the W, and 1 Gamma with the loss. Okay. And that was I played against. So if anyone looks at that and thinks, it can't be beat blue decks, it definitely can. Just play your heart out. That's all I have to say. But and again, I appreciate you letting me do a deck profile on this because I'm sure everyone knows what this deck does. But I'm sure people might appreciate the insight on this deck profile to get to 50 cards and be consistent.
Yeah, 100%. And good job, bro. You're a great player. You're always coming to locals. You're definitely the bounty at locals that everyone's trying to beat. So,
I know.
Yeah, for everyone watching though, more importantly than this, forget about all this. The reason we made this video, the motherfucking OGs. If you have any mat needs, if you need a mat, if you need to get a custom mat, go to the #1 Pro Mats. Don't forget, it doesn't have to be Vegeta. They do other characters too. They do 21. They do Cell. They do all these other bitch ass characters. But if you want a real one, get Vegeta mats. Go to promats.com. I'm gonna put the link in the description. You hate to see it. If you want to be part of Team Vegeta Saint Army, you got to get a Pro Mats mat. That's the only way you can get in, or you can get a jersey too. But besides that, you got to get a mat. I'll see y'all next time.